Hello there, everyone. I am your TheGermanSnob, and I'm here with the start of my new Let's Play. As you can see, probably, what we are going to do is GTA Vice City. What is there to say about this game? I'm pretty sure we are all at least fleetingly familiar with the GTA series, pretty much the big grime sandbox franchise, which pretty much sets the standards for the genre. Now, this game right here was I think overall fifth, fourth or fifth game in the franchise. Came out in 2002 or 2003. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say here, what determines if it's the fourth or the fifth game in the franchise is the question if you count GTA London as a complete game. But I'm getting completely off track here. It was definitely the second 3D iteration of the series. And I guess what I have to say about it is I haven't played it completely yet. I've played the beginning, but I haven't played the whole thing. Now, this game is kind of a fan favorite among the series. I think it might be the second most popular behind its immediate sequel, San Andreas. And I think what people like about it is that it's set in pretty much 80 years Miami, which was a pretty, well, it was definitely a setting that media liked to explore, its main inspiration being Scarface and Miami Vice. And seeing how the 80s have kind of come back in style pretty recently, actually, I think it has gained a pretty big following, especially, well, recently. But even as a game, it still stands pretty well on its own, even compared to what came afterwards in the series. But that's something I will get into at some point in the Let's Play. So I think I should probably stop wasting your time and actually get started with the game. So here we go. And here we go.
Tommy Vassetti? Shit. Didn't think they'd ever let him out.
He kept his head down. Helps people forget.
People will remember soon enough. When they see him walking down the streets of their neighborhoods, it will be bad for business.
Well, what are we gonna do, Sonny?
We treat him like an old friend and keep him busy out of town, okay? We've been talking about expanding down south, right? Vice City is 24 karat gold these days. The Colombians, the Mexicans, hell, even those Cuban refugees are cutting themselves a piece of some nice action.
But it's all drugs, Sonny. None of the families will touch that shit.
Times are changing. The families can't keep their backs turned while our enemies reap the rewards. So, we send someone down to do the dirty work for us and cut ourselves a nice, quiet slice, okay? Who's our contact down there?
Ken Rosenberg, schmuck of a lawyer. How's he gonna hold Vassetti's leash?
We don't need him to. We just set him loose in Vice City. We give him a little cash to get started, okay? Give it a few months. Then we go down. Pay him a little visit, right? See how he's doing.
Hey guys, it's Ken Rosenberg here. Hey, great, hey. Well, I'm gonna drive you guys to the meet, okay? Now, I've talked to the suppliers, and they are very keen to start a business relationship. So, if all goes well, we should be doing very nice of ourselves, which is, you know, good. Okay, so they're brothers, okay? One operates the business, and the other one does the fun. Okay, that's them in the chopper. All right, here's the deal. They want a straight exchange on open ground. All right? Okay, stay tight. Let's go.
Got it?
100% pure grade A Colombian, my friend.
Let me see it.
The greens?
10s and 20s. Used.
I think we have a deal, my friend.
Shit! Come on, get out of the car!
I poked my head out of the gutter for 1 freaking second and fate shoveled shit in my face. Go get some sleep. What are you gonna do?
I'll drop by your office tomorrow and we can start sorting this mess out.
Alright. So the controls are pretty much the same as they are in every GTA game that I've played on PC, which admittedly was, except from this one, only San Andreas. But you know what? I still feel qualified to say that. I'm gonna be honest here. I wouldn't exactly say that the GTA series has always been well optimized for PC. I mean, there's worse.
We interrupt your programming with a message from the
I
speaker.
know for a fact that GTA 4 had a way worse PC port than any of the games that came before it.
Meteorologists are tracking
But you know, I wouldn't say that controls are great.
5 Caribbean islands.
But you know what? I don't want to start off this Let's Play complaining about stuff.
Boiling in here.
So you know what? Let's not do this.
I'm taking it off to this next record. It is hot, baby.
This game starts off a bit more, how do you say, in media res than the 2 games coming after it. I know that GTA San Andreas and especially GTA 4 started off much slower than this one, with the first few missions being pretty much tutorial only. And this game gets to the action a bit sooner. Also, you know what I like? Even though this is a indoor area that is loaded separately from the outdoor area, you can still look out of the windows. I'm pretty sure that even San Andreas, which as I said came after this one, didn't have that. Also, what's that? That's a save point. And for some reason, the save from my old... well, from my previous playthrough is what I'm saying is still here, but whatever. Now it isn't anymore. I reinstalled this game, but it keeps the save states in a separate file and, you know, so it doesn't delete them if you uninstall the game. But as I said, I kind of like that you can still see what's out of the window. Of course it doesn't render the complete world, but you know, it's something you rarely see in games where there are separate loading areas, and I appreciate that. So up we go.
Hello, Sonny.
Tommy! Tommy, it's been too long. I know. You're just overwhelmed with emotion. 15 years.
Seems like only yesterday.
I guess that's a perspective thing.
Hey, doing time with the family is no piece of cake, but the family looks after its own, okay? So how'd the deal go down? You sitting on some white gold?
Look, Sonny, we were set up. The deal was an ambush. Harry and Lee were
You
dead.
better be kidding me, Tommy! Tell me you still got the money.
No, Sonny. I don't have the money.
That was my money, Tommy! My money! You better not be screwing me, Tommy, because you know I'm not a man to be screwed with!
Wait, Sonny. You have my personal assurance that I'm going to get you your money back. And the drugs. And I'm going to mail you the dicks of those responsible.
Hey, I already know that. You're not a fool, Tommy, but I warn you. Neither am I. If it was anybody else, you'd be dead already. But because it's you, because we got history, I'm gonna let you handle this.
Look, Sonny, you got my word.
I'll be in touch.
Alright, so here we are. And we are going to start the first mission pretty soon. Also, we can change camera modes, but why would you ever want to change it? As it is right now, it's perfectly okay. I mean, don't you agree? So, one thing I really like about this game is how it commits to its 80s setting. As I said, 80s Miami is a great setting, and even though the world map is, as I can show you, not very big, in fact, some people would argue, compared to, well, newer games of the same style, it's positively tiny. I think for its time there were not really any open world games with bigger, well, open world games. I think that might be misleading. I mean, after all, something like Zelda is also open world. But there were very few games of the same style that had a larger world. So it wasn't really bad for its time. Now the game that came out after it was easily, I'm going to say, gonna go out on a limb and say 5 times bigger than this one, you know, GTA San Andreas. Still, from what I've seen, I kind of like this game more. And talking about things I like, you know, I really dig that painting he has on his wall there. I always loved pop art. You know, I think this is meant to invoke some sort of Roy Lichtenstein sort of style, who is one of the 2 or 3 really leading pop artists next to like Andy Warhol and Basquiat. Also, once again, you can look out of the window, that's great. I think it was Roy Lichtenstein who made most of these comic book style paintings. Andy Warhol was more the tomato soup can kind of person, though I always had a certain appreciation for that particular style of art. I mean, there are very few painters who would even think of painting a can of tomato soup. But Andy Warhol, in a way, was a painter who saw, well, who saw the beauty of the things that are usually left on the side. And that's something I appreciate a lot. This commentary is totally relevant to the game we are playing right now. Sometimes I'm pretty terrible. So we want to start off our first mission, which is given to us by that lawyer we just met in the intro cutscene, a man named Ken Rosenberg. I think I've once read that he is based on a character from a movie that I haven't seen. But I do remember that that particular character was played by Sean Penn, so there's that. Not that that is relevant in any way, but I was always one to enjoy providing pretty much a bunch of useless trivia. So here we go. I think the starting point of the mission is right here on the other side of the road. And in we go. Did I mention that this game has a great soundtrack? A lot of really famous songs on there. I think after this game, the soundtrack of the GTA games got progressively worse with every iteration. I mean, San Andreas was still pretty good. GTA 4, while one of my favorite games in the series, was terrible concerning its soundtrack. GTA 5 was slightly better. But I'm getting off track. Let's start the mission.
Go get some sleep, he says. I have been sitting in this chair all night with the lights off, drinking coffee. This is a disaster. We are so screwed, man. These gorillas, listen to me, are going to come down here and rip my head off. It's ridiculous. I did not go to law school for this. Okay, now what the hell are we going to do?
Shut up, sit down, relax. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. You're gonna find out who took our cocaine, and then we're gonna kill them.
That's a good idea. That's a great idea. Let me think. Oh, there's this retired colonel, Colonel Juan Garcia Cortez. He's the one that helped me set up this deal well away from Vice City's established thugs, okay? Now listen, he's holding his party out in the bay on his expensive yacht, and all of Vice City's big players are going to be there, okay? I have an invite. Of course I have an invite. But there's no way that I'm going out there sticking my head out the door. No way.
I told you, shut up. I'll go myself.
Oh, whoa. Hey, I like 1978 too, but you know, this isn't going to be a beer and strippers do. I mean, no offense, but I think that you might turn heads on the runway for the wrong reasons.
What's wrong with the way I'm dressed?
Okay, look, here, stop by Raphael's. Tell him I sent you. He'll make you look respectable. Okay, go, come on.
Who's that guy think he is? Now I gotta dress like a chump as well as hang out with them? I like this shirt.
Alright, so we are going to a fancy party, which means that we need to be dressed fancily. And in this kind of setting, that means getting the most garish suit we can get. I think this in a way is also meant to invoke the pretty much cult TV show Miami Vice. I've never seen a lot of that show, but it was very big on that sort of style, which in turn
All day, baby.
really put its stamp on how people see the 80s in retrospect.
So totally awesome.
As you know, it followed two undercover drug investigators in 80s Miami who had a taste for expensive and extremely tasteless colorful suits in like colors like, but pretty much pastel colors, you know, light blue, pink, you know, kind of a bit like that.
Nice bite.
And the game kind of is trying to imply that we want this bike, so that means we are going to take this bike. Alright. Now, as I said, the other big source of inspiration for this game would be Scarface. I think it was pretty early 80s Brian De Palma movie. I would say that our main character... That's how I usually drive in this kind of games. Get used to it. Our main character, Tommy Vercetti, is in some ways based on that movie's main character, Tony Montana. Though of course there are quite a few notable differences. Mostly of course that Tony Montana was a Cuban immigrant, while Tommy Vercetti of course is an Italian-American mafiosi. But this whole, I guess you can say, story arc has some very notable parallels. And here we are.
Buenas noches. I understand you are here on the behalf of Mr. Rosenberg. I hope any recent problems have not affected his health or mental well-being, Mr.
Vercetti. He's just got a touch of agoraphobia.
Excellent, excellent. And you?
I just want my merchandise.
It's an unfortunate set of circumstances for all involved. Of course, I have initiated my own lines of inquiry, but such a delicate matter will take time. Perhaps we'll talk later. Meanwhile, let me introduce you to my daughter. Mercedes! Cara mia, could you look after our guest while I attend to my necessary obligations?
Of course, Daddy.
Please, excuse me.
Mercedes?
You try living with him. Anyway, let me point out some of our more distinguished guests. That's our Congressman Alex Shrub with rising silicone star, Candy Sykes.
And have you met my lovely wife, Laura? No? Well, unfortunately, she's in Alabama. This is Candy.
And over there, we have the Vice City Mamba's star titan, BJ. Always the charmer.
I blocked down on him, and then I put him in a wheelchair.
That is good. Well, now I'm looking at some prime.
And that poolside amphibian is Jez Torrent, lead singer with Love Fist.
Can I tell you, do you know how they play ping pong? Exactly. Let me tell you. It does not involve a paddle, if you know.
Impotent. And the chatty trio, that sleeping sweat gland is Papa's right-hand gimp, Gonzalez. And the other two are Pastor Richards and pseudo-intellectual film director Steve Scott.
Throws a passion with the Nuclear Invaders when the giant shark comes in and just bites their dicks off. I know, you never saw anything like that before.
Colonel, your party deliver a triumph. I can only apologize.
Well, de nada, amigo. How do we find you?
Our business is very trying. Barbarians at the gate. A time for rewarding one's friends and liquidating one's enemies, amigo.
Who's the loudmouth?
Ricardo Diaz. He's Mr. Cole.
Mercedes!
Oh, I was just taking my friend back into town. Another time, Ricardo.
Ricardo, let's go.
Let's get out of here. Actually, take me to the pole position.
Drinks.
So that's what we are going to do. We are going to drive around one of our, I think is probably going to be one of our main contacts in this game's daughter.
Will you be working for my father?
Maybe.
So difficult having a rich and powerful father. Vamos.
Now watch as we are probably going to crash this bike a few more times. I'm a terrible driver in these kind of games. Though I think that these kind of games part I can very well leave out I'm a terrible driver in real life too, but not quite to the same extent. But I gotta admit that. Now, as you can guess, this little scene on the yak there serves to introduce us to a lot of the characters of this game that will become important later on. But I think it's still going to take some time until they are actually going to reappear. So right now, concentrate on the matters at hand. We're just driving Miss Mercedes here to the pole position lap. And here we are, and apparently we have to stop right into the marker. You know, in later games in the series, you drive through it and it counts as having reached your destination, but... okay.
See you around, handsome.
I'm sure you will.
Mission passed. So that went pretty well, but then on the other hand, it's also not like there was much to it. And I think this is where I'm going to wrap up the episode. You know, what I've noticed in this cutscene, or really in the cutscenes in this game in general, is that the recording quality of the voice acting is not that great. Which is kind of a shame, because the voice acting in itself is pretty good. As it usually is in Rockstar games, and especially for its time, this is amazing. I know that especially GTA San Andreas, which came afterwards, also had some, well, celebrity voice actors, especially with the main villain of that game being voiced by Samuel L. Jackson. I don't think that this game has names that are quite as big as that. But still, especially for its time, the voice acting is great. But as I said, this is kind of a main staple in Rockstar games. And I think I can wrap up this episode right now. So I'm going to be seeing you next time, possibly tomorrow, but maybe not, with the next episode of Let's Play GTA Vice City. And until then, have a wonderful evening, or really just have a wonderful time, and see you then. I'm your German Snob. Goodbye.